Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Bo. Tusnarani
Jaya, Tulsi Maharani Jaya, Vrinda Devi. Jaya Tulsi Maharani Jaya, Vrinda Devi Jaya, Tulsi Maharani Jaya, Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice.
I think it's the first time I've ever heard you sing. First time. You probably sing a lot, but this is the first time. Yeah. I wasn't here. I didn't hear. Wait down there. We go for them for Hindi. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So today the verses will be from Canto 10, chapter 62, verses 4, 5, 6, and 7. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. It's good, it's good, it's good. Thank you. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravachari Yamuna Tiravachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Again, today the verses are going to be from Canto 10, chapter 62, verses number 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is Banasura making a request to Shiva, Lord Shiva. Sa ekadaha girisham parchvastam viryadurmadaha kiritenarka varnena samsprisham statpadam bhujam Sa ekadaha girisham parshvastam viryadurmadaha kiritenarka varnena sansprisham tatpadam bhujam Sa ekadaha girisham Parshvastam viryadurmadaha Kiritenarka varnena Samsprisham statpadam bhujam Devaris Sa ekadaha girisham Kiritenarka varnena Sansprisham tatpadam bhujam Sa ekadaha girisham Parshvastam viryadurmadaha Kiritenarka varnena Sansprisham satpadam bhujam Sa ekadaha girisham Pashvastam viryadurmadaha Kiritenarka varnena Sansprisham satpadam bhujam Sa ekadaha girisham Parshvastam viryadurmadaha Kiritenarka varnena Sansprisham satpadam bhujam. Synonyms. Saha he Banasura ekada once aha said Girisham to Lord Shiva, Parshva at his side, Stam present, Virya by his strength, Durmada intoxicated, Kiritena with his helmet, Arga like the sun, Varnena whose color, Samsprishan touching, that tat his, Lord Shiva's, Pada Ambujam lotus feet. Translation. Banasura was intoxicated with his strength. One day when Lord Shiva was standing beside him, Banasura touched the Lord's lotus feet, and that is Lord Shiva, Lord's lotus feet with his helmet, which shone like the sun, and spoke to him as follows. There's no, let's see. There's only one purport here. Okay, so Amagyana Mirandasya Gyananjana Sakayam Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mahavistam Stapitam Yena Utale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swabantikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishavanusute Devi Pranamami Haripiye Vancha Kalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitaram Pavanevi Vaishnavevya Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please bear with me today, because I barely slept last night. It's heavy. So, in any case, so I'll go ahead and read the purports by Jiva Goswami for the first verse. Banasura was intoxicated with his strength. One day, when Lord Shiva was standing beside him, Banasura touched the Lord's lotus feet with his helmet, which shone like the sun, and spoke to him as follows. Srila Jiva Goswami writes, a particular event is described. Shiva was by his side because he continually stayed with Bana in his city as its protector. And then there are some quotes from Harivamsha. Harivamsha describes his thoughts with his minister. Shiva, the master of the world, the creator of all the devatas and demons, and Kartikeya are living in our city. Instead of Parshvastam, sometimes Parshvata is seen. He was intoxicated, that's Banasura, with his strength. Shiva thought of giving him a benediction suitable to his evil nature when he was about to ask for a favor. By the mercy of Shiva, he obtained great wealth, such as his gold crown. He was intoxicated with that wealth. Bana touched Shiva's feet with devotion, some sprishon. That devotion was filled with rajas and tamas. It was not devotion in goodness, it was devotion in ignorance and in passion. That was his request. The next verse, number 5. Ramasya tvam mahadeva lokanam gurum ishvaram punsam apurna kamanam kamapura marankripam. Banasura said, "O Lord Mahadev, I bow down to you, the spiritual master and controller of the worlds. You are like the heavenly tree that fulfills the desires of those whose desires are unfulfilled." It's an important point made here that Mahadev fulfills the desires of those who cannot have their desires fulfilled in any other way. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, I offer respects to you who are a desired tree which fulfills all desires. Srila Jiva Goswami writes, Vana offered respects because Shiva was a great personality, Mahadev, the lord of all the devatas. He was moreover the giver of beneficial instructions to all jivas, Lokanam Gurum, and the master, Ishvaram. The goal of his offering respects is stated. He could fulfill the desires of all men, therefore you should fulfill my desires also. So Bana say, well, you fulfill desires for everybody, so how about me? Please fulfill my desires. Text number 6. Dosahasram tvaya datam paramparaya me bhavat Trilokyam pratiyodharam na labhetvad samam. These 1,000 arms you bestowed upon me have become merely a heavy burden. That's Banasura complaining to Lord Shiva. Besides you, I find no one in the three worlds worth to fight. Purport. According to the Acharyas, Banasura's subtle implication here is this. And so, when I have defeated you, Lord Shiva, my world conquest will be complete and my desire for battle satisfied. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, since you can fulfill all desires, you should dissipate my sorrow. Except for you, there is no one equal to me for fighting. This implies, if you mercifully fight with me, then I will be freed of my sorrow from my unsatisfied urge to fight. Defeating you, I will become famous as the conqueror of all directions. And Srila Jiva Goswami writes, Banasura reveals his pride with indirect speaking in 2 verses. Your benediction has only, Param, become a burden, since I can find no one in the 3 worlds to fight except for you. You are my equal, but I should not fight with you. My arms are a burden since they have no use. He's actually burning with desire to use his arms and fight and become the conqueror of the 3 worlds. Krishna, can you pass me my jacket? It's over there. Verse number 7. Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado. Muchas gracias. Kandutyani pritar dorbir yutsurdik gajam aham adyayam churnayan adrin vittastepi pradudruvu. Translation. Eager to fight with the elephants who rule the directions, O primeval Lord, I went forth, pulverizing mountains with my arms, which were itching for battle. But even those great elephants fled in fear. In other words, he cannot find anybody to fight with. And he's been practicing, but the elephants also escaped him. They fled in fear from him. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, wanted to fight the elephants of the directions with my arms intensely itching with the desire to fight, O original person, Adya. I went out with the intention of becoming famous as the conqueror of all directions by conquering all except the northeast direction where you reside. When I rushed through mountains in order to relieve my arms of their itching. The directions became afraid. Therefore, please tell me, how can I relieve myself of this urge of battle except by fighting with you? And without relieving myself of this itching, how can I remain peaceful? Therefore, do not find fault with me. He's apologizing ahead of time because he's acting in ways that are could be offensive. But this is the reason that his arms are itching, that he is burning with a desire to fight and conquer. And Srila Jiva Goswami writes, he speaks of his grief in trying to use his arms so they would not be useless. The desire to fight was intolerable, like an itch. I desired to fight the elephants of the direction, the best of all elephants, but they fled. You alone are worthy of fighting with me, not others. You alone should fight with me. That is what Bana wants. And hence, thinking that others should serve him, the enemy of the Lord committed offense against even the devatas, and that is shown here. So the next verse is going to be Lord Shiva replying to Banasura. So here, I'm going to read all the verses in sequence so we get an idea of what these verses are talking about, starting with number 4 through 7. Banasura was intoxicated with his strength. One day, when Lord Shiva was standing beside him, Banasura touched the Lord's lotus feet with his helmet, which shone like the sun, and spoke to him as follows. He said, "O Lord Mahadev, I bow down to you, the spiritual master and controller of the worlds. You are like the heavenly tree that fulfills the desires of those whose desires are unfulfilled. These 1,000 arms you bestowed upon me have become merely a heavy burden. Besides you, I find no one in the three worlds worthy to fight. Eager to fight with the elephants who rule the directions, O Primary Lord, I went forth, pulverizing mountains with my arms, which were itching for battle. But even those great elephants fled in fear." So we see here that sometimes our desires, when they are fulfilled, become our enemies. Like in the case of Banasura, who had 1,000 arms, and he had so much devotion for Lord Shiva to fulfill his desires in the modes of passion and ignorance. And so he got the benediction of having so many arms in order to be able to fight. Each one of the arms was holding a weapon. But it became a huge burden. So we have to be very careful with what we desire, because it may be another burden for us, rather than allow the Supreme Lord to fulfill our desires, to get closer to Him, to connect with the Supreme Lord, with Shri Radha Golokananda, and allow the Supreme Lord to give us whatever He wants to give us. No, there is no need for us to have any desires if we know that the Supreme Lord's desires for us are the best, and His gifts cannot be equaled to whatever petty things we may want. So that's one point that is being made here, that Banasura was filled with pride, and he had his arms, and he was itching to fight, and he couldn't scratch that itch and be pacified, be peaceful and happy after defeating so many other enemies, but he couldn't find anybody who was worth fighting with. And he wasn't going to fight with Lord Shiva, although he might have been thinking about it. Like Omkara Prabhu said the other day, before we speak, when we speak, we say things that we were thinking before. And so we have to be very careful with our thoughts, so we don't say anything that is inappropriate or hurtful or inconsiderate. So here is Banasura, who had requested this benediction, and now he was complaining about the benediction because he couldn't fulfill his desire to become the controller of all the worlds. So I'm going to read a little bit from some quotes about pride, because his problem was pride. And pride is born from, where is pride born from? For somebody like Banasura, who is very proud, where was his pride born from? False ego and ignorance, because if we realize that whatever gifts may have been given to us, they are gifts, they don't belong to us, they're given to us. Somebody who is a poet, or somebody who is a beautiful artist, or somebody who is an incredible engineer, or a fantastic some position that is super excellent. But that has been given by the Supreme Lord for this person to serve Him with. So we have these amazing composers, 17th century, 18th, 16th, 17th century, Beethoven, and we have Haydn, and we have Handel, writing the most beautiful melodies and the most beautiful poetries for the melodies. And they're offering them, some of them are offering them in a mass, for example. Or, for example, the Ode to Joy in the Ninth Symphony of Beethoven, which is also excellent, an excellent offering. So whatever is being done with one's borrowed gifts, then ideally they need to be offered to the Supreme Lord. And in this way, we become totally satisfied, saying that I'm borrowing this from you, but I'm offering it to you. Like, for example, the flowers. The flowers are so amazing at this time of the year, so incredible. They adorn the altar and they adorn Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa-san. And we look at the flowers and we realize what an amazing gift we have been given, these flowers. But is it for us or is it to glorify the Supreme Lord with? So in this way we can consider everything that happens in our life that is offerable to be given to the Supreme Lord rather than to have it for ourselves. That will never be satisfying. And not because we do it because we want to be satisfied, but because there is an innate desire in the heart to worship the Supreme Lord and to establish a relationship with Him. So I'm going to be reading from some quotes from Srila Prabhupada's books on pride. Pride is an essential subject. People become proud over materialistic accomplishments. Those who do austerities or penances seeking for honor, respect, and position are full of material pride. So what is it that we're looking for? We're looking for people to respect us, to give us a high position, to express their honor. All of these are materialistic desires. So it is out of ignorance that we have these desires, because these are not our qualities. These are gifts given to us by the Supreme Lord. So, for example, we have this quote, and this quote is from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse number 5. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride, because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the Lord of material nature. It is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know by the cultivation of real knowledge that he is not the Lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord. When one is free from delusion caused by pride, he can begin the process of surrender. For one who is always expecting some honor in this material world, it is not possible to surrender to the Supreme Person. It is stated that we may, in the course of time, by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, always by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, not by our actions, get rid of material desires. But the most entrenched is the desire, is the pride, the desire for recognition, for honor, for adoration from others. That's the most difficult to conquer. So it's a very important point. And why is it the most difficult to conquer? Because the one that blocks our relationship, it blocks our understanding, it blocks our practices. So we can actually think of humility as the most desirable quality, which is exactly the opposite of pride. And Lord Chaitanya says in the Shikshastaka that we need to learn to be more humble than a blade of grass or tolerant than a tree, devoid of all desire of personal sense gratification or adoration, and ready to give respect and honor to others. So it is very important that we see the dichotomy between the quality of pride and the quality of humility. And it's only when we get to the point of humility that the path of spiritual life toward the perfection starts to open up. Only when we get to the third stanza of the Shikshastakam that we can make progress. Another quote by Srila Prabhupada is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 19, verse 13, and he writes, Maharaj Parikshit felt proud, therefore, that he happened to be the descendant of such great devotees. Now be careful with this one. What kind of pride is this? Such pride for the devotees of the Lord is surely not equal to the puffed up sense of vanity for material prosperity. The first is reality, whereas the other is false and vain. So to be proud of being servant of the Supreme Lord, to be proud of being part of this congregation, to be proud of being a servant of one's guru, that's desirable. Because it's all within the within the spiritual. It's part of the spiritual process. It's not a material desire. And from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 12, Verse 7, victory is always with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As for the subordinate living entities, they fight under the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Victory or defeat is not actually theirs. It is an arrangement by the Lord through the agency of material nature. Pride in victory or moroseness in defeat is useless. One should fully depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is responsible for the victory and defeat of all living entities. There are so many quotes that Prabhupada has in his books about pride, and we know that pride, anger, lust, anger, and greed are the gateway to hell. So we have to be very, very careful with pride, anger, and greed. So let's see what time it is. I was going to the Harivansa to get some more information, and I extensively actually. And there's a lot of information about what's happening here with Banasura, and how Banasura ties with the wedding of his wife, of his daughter Usha, with Aniruddha, the grandson of Lord Krishna. So I'm going to be talking, since we have a little bit of time, about some of these stories. The son of the powerful Bali was Banasura, was the eldest of 100 brothers and had 1,000 hands adorned with hundreds of celestial weapons. He was encircled by numberless huge-bodied asuras and was a master of hundreds of illusion. How was Vana desirous of fighting a duel and inflamed with anger, defeated by Vasudeva in battle? And why did Keshava leave him off with life? So we know that in this chapter and the next chapter, there will be a battle eventually. So many things are happening in these chapters. But the conclusion of the next chapter will be that he's fighting with Krishna. And Krishna is not going to kill him. He leaves him with his, leaves off with life. And so this is a conversation between Janamejaya and Vaishampayana. So Vaishampayana is replying, well, how did the high soul Shankara used to keep Vana always by him and gave him power? How the Asura, Vana, obtained the sonship of that god of gods. He became the son of Shiva, Lord Shiva. And how a great battle ensued between him and Vasudeva, and how he was left off with his life. So now, Vaishampayana is going to explain. Banasura wanted to be Rudra's son. And he performed a lot of austerities in order to gain the favor of Lord Shiva. The blue-throated deity himself went to where Banasura was performing austerities, and he said, May I fare well? May you fare well? Do you want to pray for a boon which you cherish at heart? And then Vana said, oh yes, three-eyed deity, my prayer is that you may confer on me the sonship of the goddess. That's goddess Uma. She was also present, observing the austerities of Banasura, and they were both Lord Shiva and his wife were very pleased to see the dedication of Banasura, trying to please them. So Shankara said to the goddess, accept him as your son. And he now is the younger brother of Kartikeya. And the city, there will be a city that is going to be manifested where that will be celebrated by the name of Shonitapura. That's where Banasura had his kingdom. And nobody will be able to withstand the beautiful Banasura completely protected by me. So then Banasura lived in this city and governed his kingdom by oppressing the gods. He was an asura that wanted to fight with the demigods, and he solicited a battle with them. And then at that time, Kartikeya gave him a standard that burned like fire and a effulgent peacock to carry him. And by the power of Maheshwara, Lord Shiva, Banasura fought in a way that none of the gods, demigods, Gandharvas, Yakshas, and Rakshasas could keep himself firm at that time. He was completely protected. Banasura was completely protected by Lord Shiva and was filled with pride, the pride of the Asuras, always wanted to fight. However, he approached Lord Rudra and saluting him, he said, the gods, the Saryas and the Maruts, whom I repeatedly vanquished with the help of my army, are under your protection. They have come here, and they're living here happily. So how is it that you're protecting my enemies? The gods are living happily in the celestial city under your protection. So please, do something about it. I do not wish to live any longer. There is no use in holding all these arms if I cannot fight with them because of being protected by you. Safe fighting, my mind does not fix my mind does not fix upon anything else. I'm completely obsessed with the idea of using his arms like I mentioned at the very, very beginning. By my good luck, my holding these 1,000 arms has not become fruitless, because Lord Shiva says, don't worry about it. You're going to enter into a battle. The standard that was given by my son to you will be destroyed, and that indicates that you very soon will be in battle with your enemies, and you will be able to use your hands, your arms. And now Banasura is really happy. He prostrates himself on the ground. He adores Maheshwara, and Maheshwara says, rise up. You will soon obtain a fight befitting your family and your 1,000 arms. And then what happened is that there are all kinds of terrible omens when the standard is destroyed. It doesn't say how it's destroyed, but it's destroyed, that are very fear-producing. And so he goes back into the palace and he talks to his minister, Kumbanda. Kumbanda happens to be the father of Chitraleka, who later on will kidnapped, what's his name? Aniruddha, to take him to the chambers of Usha in the palace of Banasura. So that's the minister Kumbanda. So he tells him the conversation he had with Shiva, and all these omens that are manifesting all together, and Kumbanda is very shocked because it seems that Banasura does not realize that all these omens are against his desire to fight. This actually creating chaos. And he says, by the grace of the blue-throated deity, as well as the grace of Skanda, what boon have you obtained? And he tells him, and he says, O king, your father Bali was defeated by Vishnu's power, and he is now living in chains. Will he rise up from the water and regain his kingdom? Shall we see again your father Bali, Virochan's son, adorned with celestial garlands and pasted with celestial unguents? O Lord, shall we, vanquishing the gods, bring again to our subjection the world pilfered with 3 steps, in reference to Vamanadev, who, what? Okay, that defeated Bali Maharaj, and Bali Maharaj was chained and taken to the Patala Loka. Shall we vanquish the god Narayan, the victor of armies? So his minister, Kumbanda, is very concerned about what's going to happen, especially with these bad omens. Vanasura was filled with joy, anticipating the approaching battle, and the minister was saying, this is very bad. These omens are foretelling evil. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shima Bhavatan ki jai. All glories to the Sambhagavaris ki jai.
All makes sense.
Especially this quote by Prabhupada.
Govindam Adipurusham
Nice.
Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalayatakam Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Yasomatinandana Brajovarunagara
Yasamati Nandana Rajavaranagar
Yasomatinandana Brajovarunagara Gokularam Janakana
Yashamati Nandana Rajavaranagar
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliyata Monaridana Kaliyata Monaridana Amala Harina Mamiya Vilasa Amala Harina Mamiya Vilasa Vipina Purandara Nalvina Nagara Bhoravansi Vadana Subasa Vipina Purandara Nalvina Nagara Bhoravansi Vadana Subasa Jajana Palana Sura Kulana Sana Rajajana Palana Sura Kulana Sana Nanda Godanara Koala Godanara Koala Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Darananda Gopala Darananda Gopala Haribo Jamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanara Yasara Damuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanara Rasara Sika Kripa Moya Damuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanara Rasara Sika Kripa Moya Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Bhakati Vinodasraya Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jayo Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya, Giri Govardhan Jaya, Giri Govardhan Jaya, Sri Vrindavan. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Gaura
Lord Krishna is beloved son of Yashoda, transcendental lover in the land of Braja, the delight of Gokula, known by the nickname Kanna, the wealth of the lives of the gopis, attractor of Cupid, and punisher of the serpent Kaliya. These pure holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet material. Lord of the 12 forests of Braja, ever youthful, best of lovers, player of the flute, an excellent dresser, protector of the inhabitants of Braj, destroyer of the demonic dynasties, keeper and tender of the Gunda's cows, giver of pleasure of cows, lands, and spiritual senses, husband of the goddess of fortune, butter thief, beautiful little cowherd boy of Nanda Maharaj, wanderer on the enjoyer of the mellows of the rasa dance, very merciful, lover and beloved of Sri Radha, the great dancer in Vrindavan, and the only shelter of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan on Saturday at 11:30 at Weaver Street. It's right here in town, and we hope everybody can come. And it'd be a good opportunity to give the holy names to lots and lots of folks. Chaitodarpanam marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. Stunning flowers, flower loka. Madhu jivanam anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipanam purnamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam nam namakari bahudan nija sarva shaktis tatrapitani amita smaranena kala etadrishita vakripa bhagavan mamapi dordaiva midrishamiha janina nuraga trinadapi sunichena charorapi suhishuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam vajagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhaktir hoitaki twai vainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddha kripayata vabhada bhakhajaja stita duli sadrashim vachintaya Nainam Galadashu Daraya Varanam Gadgadradaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishiti Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Vishayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishya Vapadamratam Banastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatava vidadatu lampato mat prananatastu sa eva napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It enables us to fully taste the nectar of anxious. My Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these names, you've invested all your transcendental